What's up, people? I know it's been a while. Do you care? Maybe. I hope you do. And if you are out there and you care and you're like, where you been? Appreciate it. I'm back. I keep threatening to do these videos and I post these pictures and everybody's like, oh my God, I can't wait to see the video. And I'm like, yeah. And then weeks go by. Yeah. I was literally just out gardening. But you don't care about that. You just want to know about some magical processes on the Wizard Nebula. So let's just get into it, okay? So let's go over here to let's find our files here. Ooh, that's some MA2 stuff I did yesterday. Kick ass. Let's see here. Oh yeah, that was the 2600. The 10-inch Newtonian. It's kind of how I categorize things. Wizard Nebula. WBPP stacked. And I did shoot RGB stars. Not going to worry about that. In today's video, I'm just going to grab the O3 and hold down control in the HA. That's it. Just two of you guys. Cool. Let's see what we got. Some really cool data. That's ASI 2600 is a beast. I need to get it going again for sure. So this is our O3 data. Now it's our O3. Oh yeah, that's right. It wasn't drizzled. So you have two rejection images. So that's the O3 data. Pretty flat, pretty cool. Big long name. Delete, and HA data. Bam. Thinking there was about 8 to 10 hours of each, somewhere in there. So right off the bat, we've got a little notch we want to get rid of. So let's open up our dynamic crop. Let's kind of crop this in a little bit. So what are these magical processes that I allude to in the title? Drag and drop. Bam. Minimize. Drag and drop. So WBPP has these really long names. We're just going to name this HA. And open up our O3 and rename it O3. All right, we're cropped. That is the first step. Step one, cropped. Step two, let's run a dynamic background extraction, even though yeah, let's just do it. Let's just do it. And then we'll get into the magic. Like, man, why didn't you do this stuff before you started recording? You know? Like, why are you boring us with this stuff? Because astrophotography is boring. All right. Okay. So let's raise our tolerance to 1.5. We're going to increase our sample size to 20. And we're not going to grid these. We're just going to plot them strategically around the image, making sure we don't land any stars, and making sure we get a nice sampling of samples. Just kind of trying to avoid all this faint nebulosity out here the best I can, because I don't want to mess any of it up. It's so awesome. That's pretty good. Our correction is going to be division, and we're going to discard the background model. We don't want to see it, and we hit the check button. So our little button up here, it says STF auto stretch. We're going to click it. Yeah, that improved. That's an improvement, right? Let's not delete that. Let's drag that little caret over here, just like that. Now we have everything we just did saved. And we're going to delete that image. Eyeball. All right, let's see here. Double click on the dynamic background extraction thingy down there, and let's run it. Hit the green check mark. Stretch it. Cool. Close it. Yes. Close the old image. Yes. All right. So now here is magical thing number 1. As mono imagers, we have to do a lot of the same thing to a lot of different data sets. You one-shot color guys, you lazy bastards, you don't have to worry about this, but we do. You know, I've got to do the same thing to red, green, and blue, and Luminance, and HA, and all these. And so that means you gotta kind of monitor, like if you're wanting to run some pre-stretch actions, you gotta monitor what's going on and be in your room and blah, blah, blah. Well, let's make this automatic, shall we? So let's minimize this. Actually, let's open it back up. So we've done some work to this image. We gotta save it. We're gonna click save as. M82, there you are again, buddy. I know, maybe next video. You got so much HA. 2600, Orion 10-inch, Wizard. I pre-made a folder here. Let's just make a new folder here called container. And we're going to save this 03 as an XISF in that container folder. Okay? Like, Steve, what in the world, man? What is going on? File, save as, container folder, HADVE. Okay. All right, now we can just minimize these guys and push them down here. So now we're going to create a process container, right? A container to hold those images. So we're going to right click on the screen here and we're going to come down here to image container. Those images that we saved, unfortunately, I can't do this. Come on, PixInsight. That'd be so easy. So this little folder here with a plus, we're going to click it. Wizard, we're going to go to that container folder that we made, highlight those 2 files, and there they are. Now we need to, once we modify these 2 files, we need an output directory. So let's click that folder and go back to Wizard and then batch 1, select folder. You could go through here and redo the file extensions and the blah, 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 blah. You don't have to. We're just going to take this little instance, we're going to drag it off here, and then we're going to close that out. So our 2 files that we cropped and did DBE on are stuck in this little box. Help! We're in here, we're stuck. And so now we're going to take and make a process container. So process, all processes, and where's the P's at? Where you at? Process container. There we go. So here's what I like to do on just about all of my images. First thing I want to do is blur exterminator, and I'm going to correct it. So I'm going to take that instance, drag it off that step 1. Close the tool. Then I want to pull the stars, but I want to generate a star mask because I'm going to combine them later. That's step 2. Close that down. Then I'm going to run a little bit of noise reduction, probably down to about 50%. And that's going to be step 3. Okay. So let's take this instance of that, drag it off, and put it right there. Cool. So all of our steps are going to be applied to the images in here. And we're just going to sit back and relax. And the way you start that process is you drag it over and you drop it on. Just like that. And let the fun begin. Cool. Okay. So here's our 2 star images, and they get these really big long names, but don't worry about it. This is basically our O3 stars and our HA stars. Okie dokie. So we can come back up here to File, Open. We're going to go to this batch folder that we made. They got big long names too, but that's okay. Open them up. So there's our images. See? Didn't have to do all that individual stuff, you know? Pretty cool. I like it. Okay, so we need to combine and we need to stretch and do all that. Cool. Look at that. Isn't that crazy? So what are you? Are you team pre-stretch or are you team post-stretch? I'm going to be on team post-stretch today. So I'm going to stretch these as a grayscale and then combine them instead of combining them in a linear fashion and then stretching. How about that? Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and make the decision. Team pre-stretch. Go team. Cool. All right, so how we're going to stretch it. First thing we're going to do is hit F12. It takes the STF off. We're going to open up GHS. Beginning to use this a lot more lately. Let's do a real-time preview. So the first thing I want to do is come up here to this zoom in function. So basically what this does is it says big zoom in, big zoom out, big zoom in, blah, blah, blah. It's big zoom. So if I hit this, you see how the histogram jumps off the right. Sometimes you'll see your histogram pop up way over here. That was one thing I didn't like about the previous version of GHS is sometimes I had pretty, what am I trying to say, like bright background sky brightnesses. So it was really hard to stretch because as soon as you started stretching, everything was stretching. But with this, now you can kind of set the background limits. So it's not bad. It's not far off the left. But just to show you what we can do, we can come in here and just click just behind the histogram there. This transformation type, we want to change that to linear. And then we want to send that data that we just clicked to. See how it says send to BP Blackpoint, and then click to accept it. So all that's going to do is it's just going to kind of clip the image and get your histogram further to the left. So now we can just take that zoom back one and then stretch. And right there. So you want to find the faintest parts of the nebula, which is probably going to be right about here. You just want to click the image and say send to SP or the symmetry point. And if it was super bright and blown out, you would push this local intensity. But because this data is so weak, or the O3 is, we're going to leave it alone and accept it. So we can brighten it a little bit. Let's click right here where it's starting to get a little brighter. Send that to SP, and you see what it's done is it basically says this brightness value is along this line of your histogram. See how we can just kind of brighten up the image right there. Cool. And that's probably about as much as I want to do to the O3. Yeah. Yeah. So O3 is stretched. Whoops. HA. Woocha! HA. Right? These are Bortle 7 skies, baby. Alright, same thing, GHS. Open it up. Let's do big zoom, big zoom. See how the histogram's way over on the left-hand side? We're not going to mess with that one. We're going to leave it just like that. We're going to go ahead and stretch it. So start pushing the stretch factor over. Oh man, it just gives me goosebumps. Let's come right out here. Send that. Now see, this is kind of bright. So once we push down that local intensity, you see we kind of flatten it out. Bring down the brightness, and it brings it curve down up here. Accept it. And we can come in here. Let's click one of these little high spots right here, brighter. Just see when you have this kind of equal and opposite reaction. When you brighten up the brighter spots, it darkens this. So if you don't like how dark that is, you can say protect shadows and you can push this over. Right. I think for now, that's pretty good. Now, next question. Are you team colorized or non-colorized? I think I'm going to be, just to save some time, I think I'm going to be team non-colorized today. I'm going to blend this two different ways. First thing I'm going to do, since I have to get colored stars out of these two star masks here. I'm going to come up to script, utilities, and I'm going to go to the 4X utility palette script. If you don't have it, check out Polyman Astro. I've said it before. And get a link to his script here and add it to your repository. So what we want to do, since we only have 2 data sets, we want to choose 2, not 3, no, 2, buddy. So HA, stump our HA in, O3, stump our O3 in. HA stars, stump them in, and O3 stars. And then we hit execute. Bet you I did something. My 4X stars are fine. Yes, I grabbed the wrong HA. Can you believe I just did that? Let's run it again. And unfortunately, you have to fill all these values. You can't just do the non-stellar data. So HA, we're going to choose this big long HA name. Good grief. Good grief. Not these linear versions over here that we have. And unfortunately, we're going to have to do our stars again. It's okay. You don't care. There. There we go. There we go. So we have 2 versions of 4X stars. Let's delete that. So this is 4X. It's got some great color. Probably a little too much green. Maybe, maybe not. Let's come in here to process. Let's lean on old Bill Blanche in here. Why don't we? And come in here to color calibration and normalize. Narrowband normalize process now. Let's choose. I want to, even though it's an HOO image, for some reason that turns it green. You see, it's got this kind of greenish gray effect. And the only choice you have with HO is to boost the O3. Let's change that to SHO. Nah. It's probably a little bit better. We're still maintaining some of that orange. You like anything that's normalized? Ugh. It's not really doing too much. So let's leave it alone. So we've got, that's one thing about the 4X is it really promotes the orange. Let's do this. Let's write a simple pixel math equation and combine them. Come over here to process, pixel math, and reset it. Uncheck, because we're going to uncheck use single RGBK because we're going to use all 3 channels. Open the expression editor, go in here to our red channel, and we want to do this HA stretched. Blue channel, we're going to do the O3 stretch. Green channel, let's just do the O3 stretch. Let's keep it real nice and simple here. We're going to create a new image, and it's going to be an RGB. We have to have one of these images open. So let's see. Yeah, I mean, not bad. Not bad. A little more natural. And we can minimize this. Open up Pixel Math again. So this time we're gonna leave single RGBK expression checked. Open up our expression editor, delete this old one, and we're just gonna add the 2 together. So we're gonna say 4X. We're gonna say times point, maybe 6 plus image 23 times 0.4. Okay, create new image, RGB, And then we're going to hit the apply button. Let's see what we get. I like that. Kind of tones those oranges down. I'm going to run with it. Okay. Cool. Cool. All right, so what we want to do now, we have this image. It's great, got a lot of great color, but if you zoom in, you get a lot of chromatic noise in here. So we want to clean that up with adding a luminance. And we've already kind of pre-stretched our HA here. We can open up curves and give this a little more dynamic range. We're going to leave it set because it's a grayscale image. We're going to leave it set to RGBK. I'm just going to put like a little S curve in it. Not too much. About there. So if you click out here in space, you see you're really starting to kind of get up into the 1. So there's 0.6, 0.7, you know, 0.9 is just about white clipped. So we could actually probably raise that just a little bit. Kind of starting to pick some of these areas up. I like it. Bam! See, now it's blown out. All right. And let's run some noise reduction on it. Maybe push that down to about 70%. And this is going to be like a luminance. Cool. All right, so let's minimize that. Let's open up our combined image. Let's open up convolution here, and we're going to blur it by pushing the standard deviation over. And it really just gets rid of all that chromatic noise that we're seeing here in the image. Cool. We're going to open up LRGB combination next because we want to put our luminance, our hydrogen luminance, on top of this as a luminance layer. So we want to put it in the luminance slot. We want to uncheck R, G, and B. Maybe push down the saturation, which means you want more saturation. Kind of weird. Check chrominance noise reduction. That'll run another pass of that. And then drag and drop. Cool. That luminance is pretty bright, and I feel like it kind of muted the colors. So let's open up GHS here. Open up a real-time preview. In the mode here, let's choose saturation, and then we're going to just push this stretch factor over just a little bit. Man. Ooh. And if you want to pop some more blue, want to work on some of this centroid here, where you start seeing the O3, even though it gets real overpowered by the HA. You can actually use this O3 as a mask. Drag and drop it on here. Let's say mask and show mask. And then we go in here to curves. This B component, let's just pull it down a little bit. All right. We can kind of push the blue up. Bring it down on the back end. And let's take the red out a little bit. We don't want it to be purple. Let's take the green out. And let's accept that. Oh, yeah, baby. That was just enough to give me the willies. All right. Mask. Let's say remove mask. Yeah. Right on. All right. So let's rename this image Starless. It's very important. Not stylus. Star. Wait, not Starless. There's a microphone in my way. Jesus. Okay, that's very important. It's important. Why? Because we're going to use the star screen method to put our stars back in. And if you don't know what that is, you come in here to Star Exterminator. and you hover over this, and I can't point at it because it goes away real quick. It's right there. Right there. Never mind. The formula is right there. Dang it. Okay. We got to stretch our stars. Let's open them up. And this is something that I haven't seen anybody else do. So you know what? Here on the channel, I'm going to claim it as proprietary. Patent pending. No. Real-time preview. We're going to put these stars back in two layers. What are you doing down there? 2 layers. Stop it. Stop it. All right, so first we want to stretch, and I like to keep it below 4. If you're looking at these values here. This is purely, so you start to see some of these background stars popping up. That's where I want it. Where am I at? 4 point something. Yeah. Maybe bring them in just a little. Ooh, I'm getting aggressive. Getting aggressive today. Right there. Accept. All right. Now, watch this. We're going to open our image. Starless. We want to bring the nebula forward. We want to advance it forward. We want to push our stars back. I've done that several times, but here's a way to really enhance that. We're going to open up ACDNR. You can find that in, I think, noise reduction. This lightness mask, we're going to do a preview and turn it on. You can see how dark this is. So where it's dark, it's going to protect the image, but we don't want to be that aggressive. What we're doing is we're creating a real light mask to just kind of mute the stars in the main portion of this nebula on the first pass. Okay, I like that. Let's close it. We're going to make a copy of our image, drag and drop. Man, I'm digging these colors. Live, people. Close the tool down. This is our mask. Let's drag and drop. Boink. And it is, because it's black, let's show it. You see it's protecting when you drag. You don't have to invert it. So mask, show mask. Now, our 4x stars, we have to rename them stars. Because of that formula that I can't point at. So open up star screen, drag and drop. So you can see I got stars all the way around the nebula, but right here where I put that mask, it really mutes the stars out. And it kind of looks a little unnatural, but wait, there's more. There's one more step. Mask. We're going to remove that mask. Minimize the image. Open up our stars again, and we're going to do another stretch. This time we are concentrating on the bigger stars because we're going to mask those in. So you can boost the stretch factor here. You got to be careful. And then this, pulling them back to local intensity, kind of tightens them up. And you can also protect highlights by kind of pulling them down a little bit and then stretching them. That's going to really condense the centroid of the star. If we push that local intensity back up, you see how they get a little brighter. So we don't want to be muted. We want to be right about there. Accept it. Woo! Not like that. Let's add some color to our stars by boosting the saturation. Oh yeah. Remember, those were just HA and O3 stars. A lot of yellow though. All right, now we got to make a mask, and all this mask we want to do is to let these bigger stars pop through and mute out all the rest of these stars. So we're going to open up range selection, real-time preview, take this lower limit, start sliding it over right about there, and let's smooth it out. You can see all those little faint stars kind of disappear. That's about what you want to see. You want to see some of your bigger stars in the brighter spots here. And then all the rest of these stars in the background are going to get kind of muted out with this mask. So apply that. So let's push our stars down here. This is our arrange mask. And now we're going to apply that mask. And when we do, we open up star screen. We put our stars back in again. Boink. Before. After. Before. If you feel like you stretched them too much, just undo it and stretch them a little less. Okay. I could continue on, and I am, but I feel like my background might be a little blue, leaned, a little blue biased. So let's fix that with, what are we going to fix it with? Let's fix it with curves. And we're just going to lower blue down on the back end just a little bit. We're going to boost it up right about there. Boost it up on the high end. I like it. Okay. Better. Cool. All right, so we got these. We got good stars. We got good star depth. Stars are nice and round. So let's come in here and do a real-time preview. And now let's sharpen it up. I always like that star right there where his eye is at. Doink! Look at that thing. All right, so let's open up Blur Exterminator. Let's reset the tool. Default has a star sharpening adjustment, pretty aggressive. Let's back that off. And we're going to leave Sharpen Non-Stellar alone. Just drag and drop and see what we like. Oh, baby. Look at that. I want you to look at that. Stars are getting a little sharper. Oh, yeah. Apply. Groovy. Let's delete that. And let's do a little bit of noise reduction. Although we really don't need much. We'll leave it set at the full power. We're going to protect our details a little bit more. I know you're like, bro, I can't see none of that. Yeah, I like it. I like what it's doing. I'm digging it. Let's apply it. Some of that stuff, man, you know, it's like, you got a pixel peep to see some of these things that we do, but we do them anyway. All right, cool. Now for magical steps 2 and 3. And unfortunately, I'm going to make you mad. Maybe. Hopefully not all of you. Probably just 27% of you. We're going to Photoshop. No, I know. Sorry, we're going to Photoshop. So let's go in here, File, Save As. It's where the magic happens. Maybe this will prod you to get Photoshop and pay their monthly subscription. Starless, save. Okay. And if you already have Photoshop, follow along. Oh, M82, you crazy little kid. What are you doing? What are you doing all your HA? All right. Swear. I don't know why he keeps doing that. Open. Astrophotography. 2600. Orion. Wizard Nebula. Batch 1. Oh, not batch 1. Where did I save that? Starless. What did I do? File. Save as. Save in batch 1 this time. Oh, yeah. Photoshop can't open up. We got to do a TIFF. Photoshop was having a little tiff, wasn't it? Okay, Photoshop. File. Wizard, batch, starless. There we go. Okay. So first thing I like to do in Photoshop is go to the color sample tool and see where my colors are at. See, I'm still a little blue. See, I'm like, ooh, man. Let's do some adjustment on this. Let's go to levels. Yeah, you can see. That's that 4x for you. That's that dang old 4x. Go to red. We need that red to increase about 20. What are you doing, dog? Let's take our green. Flip the greens a little bit. Oh, yeah, we're gonna take our blue. Flip the blues just a little bit. Look at that. All right. Sit down. Merge down. Okay, so first thing, have you processed an image and you're super excited and you kept monkeying with it, and then you're like, man, this thing is just flat. It looks flat, like I just painted it with on a canvas, and it's ugh. So we're gonna do two things to reintroduce some glow and vibrance to your image. First thing is it called a spot glow, and the second thing is called the Orton Affect. And I didn't even realize there was a thing called the Orton Effect until I was scrolling around on YouTube and saw a video posted by Sky Story. He's got a lot of great videos up in Canada. Definitely check his stuff out. He goes way more in detail than I do about stuff. But he posed, hey, is the Orton Effect good for astrophotography? And so that let me down the rabbit hole of the Orton Effect. And I found lots of different ways to do it. And I found a really simple way that I like. So first we're going to do some spot glow. So we've got two identical images here, layer 1, layer 2. And what we want to do is we want to come up here to this image. We're going to go to layer, new layer. We're going to change the blending mode to color dodge. And where it says fill with color dodge neutral, we want to select that. And click OK. Now we want to make sure our foreground is white. So our foreground is now white. We're going to get our brush tool. And I want to make sure our brush tool is about 50%. Maybe just a little less isn't going to hurt. Fairly large soft brush. We're going to come, I like to come like half into the dark areas and half out and just book, glow. Book. Ooh, let's see, that's too much. That's all right. Don't freak out. We'll just pop in some glow. I mean, a lot. Remember. Ha 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 ha. This is really good for galaxies that have some really intense HA in them. Okay, so let's drop the opacity down. Bring it back up. Yeah. It's just that right amount of added kind of glow to your image. If you want to drop your opacity down a little bit more, widen your brush, just maybe feather that glow out a little bit. All right, cool. Zoom back out. Let's right click on that layer and say merge down. So this is the two. See, we just added some glow. We could have done some glow over here. Why didn't we? I don't know. Anyway, let's merge that down and then duplicate that layer. All right, so here's the Orton Effect. Pretty cool stuff. Basically, the Orton Effect is blurring, mega blurring your image, and then using the opacity layer to add some soft glow to your image. Ow, my leg itches. Yeah, so anyway, so here's how we're going to do it. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go over here to filter, blur, and we're going to Gaussian blur. Now, I don't think that's enough blur, even though there's some there. And I think that's too much blur, right? So I still want to see a bit of structure. So I'm right in the 20 percentile. There's someone there, right? So I can still make out that that's the Wizard Nebula, but it is blurred, right? And this is stars and everything. So let's change the blending mode to screen. Ah, what are you doing? All right, so now that we've done that, we're going to come here to image, apply image, and we want to make sure it's the blending is multiplicity and the layerage merged, and click OK. Cool. And then we're going to bring the opacity down. Dook. We're going to raise it back up. Blink. To me, it is basically applying a glow to your entire image that just makes it translucent. To me, a little more what I would hope is natural looking without sacrificing some detail. So if you want to get caveman on this thing, you can by erasing some of this. We can get, what is that, destructive? Everybody's like, oh, I don't want to be destructive in my image. Pfft. Take another one. So we got our brush. Let's set our brush in the high 70s. Let's just come in here. Actually, maybe let's drop that opacity down just a little bit. And you can see we're just kind of diminishing that glow right here. Look at this. Never even noticed that. It's like this hand going. It's pointing at his hand. He's got a hand pointing at a hand. All right, so we're just kind of spot clicking. You can see I didn't lose any of that wonderful detail that Blur Exterminator put in there for us at all. All right. Bam. Merge that down. Duplicate the layer. Filter. I love camera raw filter. If you don't love camera raw filter, something's wrong with you. Sorry. Okay, basic. We're going to add some vibrance, and we're going to add a little clarity, and we're going to add a little saturation. Dang. Okay. All right. Merge down. Let's check our color. I don't think we got any major crazy color noise. Yeah. All right. So file, save. Push it down here. Okay. Let's reset. And we're going to go file, open, starless. Huh. I mean, can you see the difference? I think you can. Can you see it? Do you like this? I can see the difference. I like this way better. Not that this isn't good. This is way better. This is still good, but this is a lot better. Let's go in here like this. Took. Took. Yeah. Right. All right. That was it. I still like, I never have noticed this little hand. Look at this guy. He's like, look there. The hand of the Wizard Nebula. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you like this data, and you're probably like, ooh, share it. Well, the last time I shared data, somehow or another I did something wrong, and I had to say yes to everybody who requested the data instead of just finding a link and clicking on it. Oh my gosh. You know how many people I had to say, yes, I'll share the data with you? Like 3. Yeah, anyway. And I have been doing some major work to some major gear, and I need to do an outside gear video because I've had some trials and tribulations. I don't know why you can't have just trials, why you have to have tribulations with your trials, but I have them both. Don't worry. Until then, clear skies and clear minds.